Alexander Spellane here. We have Officer Brandon Tatum with us, who just got off main stage. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing well, brother.
That's good. Amazing speech, by the way. I actually have my mom here in attendance. She's a big fan of yours, loves seeing you speak. So let's just talk about manhood for a second. I mean, a man's role is to protect his family.
100%.
Where would you say conservative men are lacking, and what would you like to see more of out of men in the conservative community?
I like to see men take a bolder stance before God in their family development and marriage. Because it's easy to talk about it and say, I'm conservative, I'm a Christian man, I'm this and that, but live it. Because I know for a fact, and I hate to be this guy to say it, I know for a fact when young people get here, it's a whole bunch of nice looking women here, and they all staying at a certain hotel. You have to be strong through those times and have integrity. And so I want young men to be empowered that you don't have to just talk about it, but you can actually live it, and it has positive benefits on the back end of it.
Right, you know, it's interesting you say that, because I see a lot of men easily falling into temptation, but when it actually comes to standing up for the truth and then standing up for things that actually matter, they fear the backlash. So it's kind of crazy that you've kind of got that double dynamic going on, and I'd like to see more men do that too. So talk about how you got involved with Turning Point USA and really what you've seen because I know you've done other events. What's the growth been like, and what's the response been for you?
Oh, it's been absolutely epic. I started with TPUSA like in 2018. Probably before that, around 2017, 2018.
They've been around a long time.
They've been around longer than that. That's just when I started. I was a cop in 2017. I left the police department to work for a company as their not urban engagement director, that's with Turning Point, as the spokesperson for a company called Conservative Tribune. The algorithm on Facebook changed and they almost went out of business.
I know about that.
So that ended up allowing me to work with Candace Owens and Charlie at Turning Point way back in 2018. And it really springboarded me as a speaker, as a social media influencer, as a man, as a conservative. Turning Point did so many wonderful things for me. And I've just been growing since, and also I partner with them on various things now. I have my own company, we do all of our own media stuff, but I absolutely love Charlie. I love what Turning Point is doing. I think I spoke at like 15 universities this year so far. And so it's been a tremendous blessing.
Yeah,
and we went from it just being me before my wife to now we got 16 employees, and probably about 5 of them came to this event. So God has been really doing a wonderful work for us.
60 employees is a lot. You know, I was on a panel earlier, and we just talked about the importance of being able to cultivate small teams in order to have just one efficient unit. And I definitely see that just through your work and how you've grown. So we're closing out the year right now, over 2023. How has 2023 been for you? What are you looking forward to in 2024 right now?
2023 was epic. Like I said, at the beginning of 2023, we probably had about 4 employees. So just in this short period of time, we've been able to hire and expand. We were in a 5,000 square foot building. Now we're in a 15,000 square foot building.
Oh, wow.
And so God has been doing a lot of expanding for us. We've hired a few other people on our team in executive roles, and we've been doing crazy stuff. So my goal is to not try to put a cap on it. I want to see how far God wants us to take this. So I want us to do better than we did in 2023, but I also don't know how far to go. If you'd have asked me at the beginning of the year, would we have a team like this? Would I have gained 1 million subscribers on TikTok in 6 months, over 1 million on YouTube? I mean, I have a syndicated radio show now that I never thought I'd have.
Right.
I took over Larry Elder's spot, and so I'm syndicated out across the country. So in 2024, I just want us to be better, proficient. I want to read more because I know that there's a lot of value in education and reading because people have lived this already. And so I want to read more personally. I want to continue to foster my team because we didn't start with this team, right? Some people were here.
Of course.
I had to fire people. I've had the letdowns of people not living up to their expectations.
Absolutely.
Me not leading the way I should. And I think that caused people not to be able to maximize who they really were. So I want to build on all that, man. I could talk to you for 3 hours about the things I want to do, but the main thing is putting God first and just letting God use our company to do whatever His will is.
You know, to summarize that same mission with Fisher Capital for me, it was never about the destination. It was just about the impact, right? And just the results of the impact that we can have on other people. And I see that through your work. So tell me, have you ever promoted physical gold and silver on your show? And if not, why?
Well, I have. I inherited the advertiser from the radio, and I did 2 gold companies. One was I forget the gold company that I started with, but Birch Gold is my sponsor that sponsored my radio show.
Awesome. Why do you think it's important for conservatives to own gold right now, and how can that benefit them?
I think gold offers, and this is just my opinion, I'm not giving financial advice, but
Of course.
I think gold offers a little more stability than playing and gambling with your money in the market. That's pretty much what I believe gold to be. It's stable, it's consistent, it's not blockchain and all this other stuff that's not regulated whatsoever. So I think it gives people a little more consistency with less volatility, and everybody should be diversifying their investment. So if they're investing in other things, to me, it's a no-brainer to at least give gold a try.
Absolutely. It's interesting, you don't see a lot of people fully diversified. You see them in just the stock market or just in assets that are owned and controlled by third parties. It's a big part of what I talk about at Turning Point. My message is really about how you can vote with your wallet. And my question for you would be what would need to happen for conservatives to stop making purchases that fund the left's agenda? And just everyday purchases, whether it's Starbucks or Amazon, like what would you like to see happen for other conservatives and reduce the amount of funding that's going to the agendas that are now woke?
Yeah, what we have to do is we have to get conservatives to be a part of the executive teams on these companies, encourage them to not avoid some of these companies, but work their way up, change the culture, which is the hardest thing to do.
Absolutely.
The easier thing to do, not easy, but the easier thing to do, is for us to compete. If you don't want to shop at Starbucks, you have to produce a product that's equal or greater than Starbucks. If you don't want us going to watch a Netflix platform, you got to create a platform that's consistent and that adds value. Because listen, you can get emotional and say, I don't want to shop here. I don't support this company. I don't want to drink Bud Light. But if there's no alternative, people tend to go back to what they know. They tend to go back to what's consistent.
Yeah, that's right.
You get to an event and all they have is Bud Light and you want a beer, you're going to drink the Bud Light. So I want to see conservatives be more competitive in the fashion industry and the beer industry or liquor, and I want them to be more competitive with energy drinks, all of that. And I think that'll give the flexibility for somebody to say, I can legitimately stop buying from that company because this company is not only a better alternative politically or what I believe in, but they're a great company that have great product.
I've asked that question to several different people I've interviewed today. That's my favorite answer so far. No one's talked about conservatives just stepping up and being competitive. You hear a lot about like, oh, they've got to do their research and it's not, I love that because it just fosters the spirit of entrepreneurship, which is what I would personally love to see with the youth of Turning Point, right? And I do see a lack of financial literacy in people's ability to do that. It just goes back to the left's agenda to keep people in a box. They don't want you to think the American dream's alive.
Right.
And really, I think what's so great about this event is it inspires people and gives them that extra boost to really know that they do still have those opportunities and it's still alive and well. So what would you like to see for your audience, and what message would you have as an entrepreneur yourself? How did you break into that? And really, what advice would you give to someone who's just trying to get started, Yeah,
when I quit believing in the leftist agenda, when I quit believing I was a victim, when I got saved and put God first, it encouraged me to believe in the American dream. And I believe that I can accomplish anything that I want if I put in the work, I do my research, and I serve people. And I think that's what I want conservatives to embody, is that I want conservatives to embody the message of entrepreneurship by believing in the American dream. I got to this place because I believed. I'm a big person on visualization. I don't think that that's contradictory whatsoever with the Bible.
Right.
Because what a man speaks, that's who he is. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. And so believing in and seeing what you want to accomplish is important in actually making it happen. And you have to be consistent. You have to be willing to roll your sleeves up and work hard. I work every single day of the week. I do my YouTube videos, at least 2 or 3 a day. I do my TikTok. I go on interviews, I travel all over the country, and I do my 3-hour radio show, and I run a few companies, my energy drink company and our apparel company. So you got to be willing to work if you want to achieve. And the biggest thing with all of that, put God first, have integrity, and use service as your number one priority. I don't do things for money, although I make a lot of money. I make 7 figures easy on all of my business, each one of them. So I have money, and I've been able to build a decent amount of wealth, but that's never my priority. My priority is serving other people. We do our e-commerce, we get the best product, the best ink, I buy the best machines, I empower the people that work there to believe in what they do. They produce a product that people love, and they come back and buy more. And that's what I do with everything in my life, is I practice excellence, and I believe in serving others, and money will literally chase you down the street.
I think you'll relate to this, and this goes for other people who are just trying to get started being an entrepreneur. You can't expect other people to do something that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. And what I see with a lot of new companies that come out is immediately from the jump, they just start delegating the tasks to other people. I don't know your story, but I have a feeling that you are somebody who really did build everything from the ground up. You put everything in a position where you understood it yourself before asking someone else to really assume a certain role from you, just based on the fact that you told me you started with a smaller team and you're just now getting in scale. So what was that like for you and are you relieved to have more support, just considering how hard it is to manage and juggle so many things at one time?
It keeps the level of difficulty continues, right? Because I was a lot smaller, therefore I didn't do a lot of work, right? When I say a lot of work, I was only doing my YouTube channel. I did about 3 to 5 videos a day. I edited all my own videos. That was a task, but I learned how to edit, I learned how to post, I learned the algorithm on YouTube. And I started my e-commerce store. Me and my wife, one night, just decided we're gonna make a Shopify store. But I learned the ins and outs of Shopify. I learned how to sell. I learned how to do customer service by failing a few times. And then with that, you scale it. And as you scale it, you gotta add more people, which is still difficult because we're still a startup in a startup phase.
Yeah.
Even though we have 16 people, we're still kind of starting up.
Figures as a startup,
right.
I was part of my journey too. I mean, I've had Fisher Capital for 3 years, but it is very impressive. And I mean, it really just goes to show the sky's the limit, right?
It's whatever you envision and you believe it in your heart and you feel it, you can make it happen. I got so many more aspirations for our team. I got so many more aspirations for our company. And I'll just say, watch it happen.
Amazing. It's truly inspiring. And I will say, I love what you're saying just about your aspirations for your team. So, just in closing, talk about after you got your success, like where your mindset changed to where now it's just bigger than you and you really just want to cultivate something for your employees. I mean, what's the vision that you have for them and where do you see your media going, forward from here?
Yeah, in my heart of hearts, it's always been about other people. The one reason that I feel that way because people blessed me to get to where I'm at. People invested in me when I was a nobody. I had nothing to offer them, but they believed in me. So from that point, I always wanted to reciprocate and give back to others. I do it through social and now I do it through my employees. I pay 100% medical coverage for all of my employees. I pay them well. I treat them with respect. I empower them. Every payday we do a lunch for all employees, paid for. Christmas party, I bought them all new uniforms. They came to my house. We catered food where they cooked in the kitchen for us because I believe in empowering them to be the best version of themselves. And I'll say this to any business owner or somebody who aspires to have an incredible business. Focus on truly believing in the people that work with you. Always help them get to their pinnacle. I tell them, I don't want you working for me forever. I want you to live your dream like I'm living my dream.
Absolutely.
What you're doing is a part of building your dream to get to your final destination. By doing that, it empowers them to feel like they're not enslaved or they don't feel indebted. Right. They feel empowered to work with me and to build something on their own. And anytime they go off, they move on to a greater opportunity, I support them, I'm happy for them. And I think that culture breeds people coming in and feeling empowered and they go on to be great.
Right.
I would be a hypocrite if I tried to keep people working for me forever. I want them to live their dream like I'm living my dream.
If people are there just for a paycheck, it's only a matter of time before they leave at some point anyway.
Yeah.
So I really believe that those leadership qualities are really of the utmost importance, and it really does empower people. I know you've got to run. I want to wrap up, and I want to ask you this, because what I've noticed is amongst the speakers at this event, and even just guys like Glenn Beck, compared to where they started in the conservative movement, you've seen us acknowledge we are not just in a political battle, it is a spiritual battle. I see more and more conservative figures and speakers coming forward and just putting faith at the forefront of everything that they're doing and everything with their mission, right? So talk about that, and how have you, I obviously know, that's a big part of your message. So how are you involved with ministry? How can other people get involved with that with you? And what are your plans, and what would you like to see for other people that are in your audience participate?
Yeah, everything that I do, I put God first. I got saved before I ever did any of this, thank God. So that has always been the forefront of my mission, and it just has evolved from there, but I always put God first. And I work with churches all the time. I go to Dream City Church here in the Phoenix Valley, and I help them in every way that I can. When they have events, when they have sponsorship opportunities, my family supports that. So as a person who follows me, I encourage you to get involved in a church that's doing something. Not a church that just come and collect your tithe money and preach fire and brimstone to you or tell you everything's gonna be okay.
Right.
Partner and be involved in a church that's doing something in the community. You don't have to have money to do that. Attendance, supporting your church, volunteering, all of that stuff. You can't just be a person that talk. Faith without works is dead. So not only do you feel it, embody it, but actually become active. And the way that people can do that with listening to me is just allow my testimony and my story to impact your life. God has done everything. All of my success has come from me putting God first. So any aspiration to be like Brandon or be similar to Brandon, you got to understand that God came first in that. So implement that in your life and you'll see the success that I have.
That's really amazing, Brandon. From officer to entrepreneur,
Yeah, man.
So impressed with your work, love what you're doing.
God bless you, brother.
And I relate to you in so many ways. I'm so glad I got to talk to you on this level, and thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Go to the Officer Tatum to check out Brandon and support Turning Point USA.